At EO 6:17 a.m. local time, 180 nautical miles north of the Venezuelan coast, the U.S. Navy's most advanced eye in the sky, a P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft was executing a routine intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance ISR profile. The Caribbean water below was dark blue, placid, and deceptive. Commander Mark "Razor" Keller, piloting the $200 million Poseidon, was tracking a known Russian-flagged cargo vessel, an alleged civilian transport rumored to be carrying the final components of a Panzer S-1 air defense system. Then the console of the electronic warfare officer EWO lit up with a harsh red indicator.
RWR ALERT lock on. Target AZIMUTH 170 SAM threat.
This was not a warning. It was an electronic declaration of war. An S-band fire control radar, the specific signature matched the Russian-supplied Buk M2E system had locked onto their aircraft. Commander Keller had exactly 45 seconds to initiate evasive maneuvers and deploy non-kinetic countermeasures before the system's launch computers calculated a high-probability intercept solution. A hit would mean the downing of a $200 million U.S. Navy aircraft, the loss of a highly trained 9-person crew, and the instantaneous transformation of a routine patrol into the first shots of a regional conflict. This moment of tension, 180 miles from U.S. shores, was the culmination of a Russian geopolitical gambit designed to challenge American dominance in its own hemisphere, a shockingly stupid idea Moscow was about to regret. The stakes in the Caribbean have never been higher. The seemingly placid waters are now the most dangerous geopolitical flashpoint in the Western Hemisphere precisely because Russia is attempting to weaponize Venezuela's unstable regime. For decades, the Caribbean was viewed as an American lake, a secure logistics hub for global trade, and uncontested operational space for the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard counter-narcotics missions. Russia's objective is simple: establish an anti-access/area denial A2AD bubble on America's doorstep, creating a strategic spoiler that forces the U.S. to divert high-value assets away from the Pacific and Europe. By delivering sophisticated integrated air defense systems, IADs, like the S-300VM Buk M2E and the new Panzer S-1 Moscow, aims to give Venezuela a credible long-range deterrent capability. Venezuela's objective under the command of Nicolás Maduro is regime protection, making any U.S. military intervention, whether a surgical strike or a large-scale operation, prohibitively expensive in terms of pilots, aircraft, and political capital. The presence of alleged Russian technical advisors and mercenaries only increases the tripwire risk, threatening to turn a local confrontation into a direct U.S.-Russian incident. The entire operational environment from the skies above to the shipping lanes below has been weaponized. We are watching a new Caribbean Cold War unfold, and the audience must understand that what happens next will redefine the balance of power on the American continent. Subscribe and stay tuned. You won't want to miss how the United States responded to this direct threat. The adversary is twofold: a desperate, poorly trained Venezuelan military force, now armed with lethal Russian technology, and the calculating, opportunistic hand of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Russia's motive is pure strategic disruption. The Buk M2E NATO reporting name SA-17 Grizzly is a highly mobile medium-range surface-to-air missile SAM system capable of engaging aircraft up to 45 kilometers away and at altitudes of 25 kilometers. Its 9K3-117 missile can track and engage up to 24 targets simultaneously, making it a severe threat to non-stealth ISR platforms like the P-8A. Even more dangerous is the newly delivered Panzer S-1 SA-22 Greyhound, a combined missile and gun system with a radar range of up to 36 kilometers. With its twin 30mm cannons firing 5,000 rounds per minute and 12 ready-to-fire missiles, the Panzer is specifically designed to neutralize cruise missiles, precision-guided munitions, and low-flying aircraft or drones, the very tools the U.S. Navy would use for suppression of enemy air defenses, SCADE. Venezuela has also been operating the long-range S-300VM SA-23 Gladiator, capable of intercepting tactical ballistic missiles. The integration of these systems creates a terrifying layered A2AD network that, even if operated by semi-proficient Venezuelan crews, dramatically increases the severity of the threat. The Russian strategy is to introduce chaos, force the U.S. to operate farther from the coast, and turn Venezuela's airspace into a lethal no-go zone. This setup means that a single misjudged action by a highly stressed, poorly supervised Venezuelan air defense crew could lead to a massive escalation, putting the lives of American service members at risk, and challenging Washington's core doctrine of freedom of flight. Against this layered threat, the U.S. Navy did not rely on brute force. It deployed the undisputed king of networked warfare, the integrated kill chain. The first countermeasure was the P-8A Poseidon itself. Built on the airframe of the Boeing 737, the Poseidon is a sensor powerhouse, not just a maritime patrol aircraft. Its AN/APY-10 multi-mission radar can scan vast expanses of ocean, but its real secret weapon is the suite of electronic support measures (ESM) that can detect, classify, and pinpoint the exact location of any enemy radar emission. The moment that hostile Buck M2E radar locked onto Commander Keller's aircraft, the P-8A's ESM gear instantly geolocated the battery to within a few meters of its position, a process known as targeting at the speed of light. This data, the full spectral signature and precise coordinates of the Buck battery, was immediately transmitted via Link 16, the NATO tactical data link which acts as the nervous system of the entire battle network. The receiving node was the USS Arleigh Burke DDG-51, an Aegis-equipped guided missile destroyer operating over 300 nautical miles away, its massive SPY-1DV radar providing an unparalleled picture of the entire Caribbean basin. The destroyer's computers calculated the fire solution against the newly identified target in milliseconds, but the U.S. response would be surgical, not immediate. For close-in protection, the P-8A launched multiple NALE-47 countermeasures, rapidly spewing flares and chaff to confuse the Buck's guidance system and electronic shield that cloaked the aircraft, just as the countdown clock on the EWO's console ticked down to 20 seconds. This combination of advanced detection, instant information sharing, and non-kinetic self-defense is the signature of American technological superiority, turning the Russian threat radar into the instrument of its own future destruction. The climax was a perfect execution of the CA'd suppression of enemy air defense's kill chain. As the P-8A violently broke its lock, executing a steep G-force-inducing turn while dumping flares and chaff, Commander Keller's voice remained cool as he reported a successful electronic combat maneuver. Simultaneously, the USS Arleigh Burke, having ingested the Buck battery's coordinates via Link 16, already had the final phase in motion. From its vertical launch system VLS cells, the destroyer launched two SM-2 Block 3 anti-air missiles. But these were decoys designed not to hit the Buck battery, but to keep the Venezuelan operators glued to their screens, focused on a perceived air attack. Crucially, the main strike came from a completely different domain. Operating high above the Venezuelan mainland, an MQ-9 Reaper UAV known for its persistence and multispectral sensors was cued by the Link 16 update. The Reaper already carried the weapon of choice for this scenario, the AGM-114R Hellfire missile. The Hellfire, weighing only 100 pounds but designed for absolute precision, was fired not at the Buck's radar, but at a soft target identified by the P-8A's electronic signature, the Buck battery's command vehicle. The command vehicle. The brain of the entire system is where the Russian advisors were likely situated directing the fire control. The Hellfire, racing at Mach 1.3 and guided by the MQ-9's laser designator, had a time of flight of just over 2 minutes. The Venezuelan crew, panicking from the incoming decoy SM-2s, never saw the low-signature Hellfire coming. At 06:20 a.m., the command vehicle was incinerated in a massive secondary explosion, a direct hit to the communication and command center, crippling the entire Buck M2E battalion with zero collateral damage to the launch vehicles or surrounding infrastructure. The kill was achieved not through overwhelming force, but through overwhelming information and absolute precision, ensuring that the Venezuelan air defense network was blinded, deafened, and decapitated in one surgical, non-attributable strike. The aftermath was silent and immediate. On Commander Keller's P-8A, the aggressive S-band radar lock vanished from the EWO's console. The hostile electronic signal went from a shrieking, focused lock-on to dead silence, the electronic signature of an enemy system that had been instantly vaporized. The mission was over. The Buck M2E battery with its command vehicle destroyed was now just a collection of expensive metal rendered tactically useless. The cost of a single Panzer S-1 export battalion is estimated at approximately $15 million, and the entire Buck M2E system represents an investment of hundreds of millions of dollars in a desperate, destabilizing Russian arms deal. The U.S. response, executed with a single Hellfire missile costing less than $150,000, delivered a strategic message that was priceless. This was not a military victory over Venezuela. It was a devastating humiliation for Moscow's regional strategy. The message was clear: Russia's attempt to establish an A2AD fortress on America's doorstep failed within minutes of being challenged. The U.S. Navy had just proven that no amount of Russian iron or cash could compensate for the perfect coordination of the American kill chain. The system's satellite P-8A Link 16 MQ-9 and the Aegis destroyer operated as a single, unstoppable entity. The price of this provocation for Venezuela and Russia was not just the loss of their command capability, but the psychological blow that their most advanced, expensive Russian hardware was instantly defeated by a drone-launched missile before they could even fire a shot. This incident ensured that for the near future, any Venezuelan operator receiving orders to illuminate a U.S. ISR aircraft would hesitate, knowing the exact consequence that awaits them at the end of the radar beam. This rapid-fire tactical incident near the Venezuelan coast serves as a profound warning and a fundamental lesson in 21st century power projection. The strategic takeaway is simple. Deterrence is not about the quantity of weapons. It is about the speed and certainty of the kill chain. Russia's decision to arm a volatile client state like Venezuela with sophisticated air defenses was designed to create a strategic headache for the United States. Instead, it provided a live-fire laboratory for the U.S. Navy and Southcom to perfect the kill chain against one of Russia's premier export systems, the Buk M2E. Every second the Buk radar was active, it was broadcasting its own death warrant, providing the precise coordinates needed for its swift and surgical neutralization. This incident proves that in modern warfare, the moment a hostile force illuminates an American platform, they activate a complex network of space, air, and sea assets that will respond with overwhelming and non-negotiable precision. It highlights the vast, unbridgeable gap between a system that can be bought like the Panzer or Buk and a system that must be built the integrated multi-domain command and control network of the United States. The challenge remains for Russia. Their strategy relies on tactical disruption, but their technology is simply not fast enough to operate inside the reaction window of the U.S. Navy. The Caribbean is secured not by a ship or a missile, but by the perfect fusion of data and the will to use it. This victory ensures freedom of navigation and ISR operations continue unimpeded. The question for the audience is this: knowing how swiftly and surgically the U.S. dismantled this layered air defense system, do you think Russia will attempt another similar geopolitical spoiler in a region closer to its borders? Let us know in the comments below.